Hey there, everybody. Thank you so much for supporting Indie Agency News, our mission to serve independent agencies and the brilliant people behind them. Thank you to our members. And thank you to our preferred partners. You'll see in the little corner there. Goodway Group, our latest preferred partner. A quick reminder here, we only partner with companies that genuinely help Indie Agency News members thrive. So no fluff here, proven results. Before they even come on board, we want to make sure that they're doing the right thing for independent agencies, especially our members. So let's talk about Goodway Group. Here's a reality check. When your agency goes after bigger media business, you might hit some walls, talent gaps, you got some black box tech, fear of overpromising. This is where Goodway Group shines. So they're helping over 75 indie agencies, including Left Hand Agency, Indie Agency News member, in the home city of Portland, Oregon. They win like holdcos without the overhead. They're supporting your pitch strategy, bringing over 100 certified media experts, run campaigns flawlessly, or support your in-house teams. Super consultative, which is probably what you need right now. And they've got transparent access to the trade desk, Walmart's DSP, measurement services, and their fraud-busting media buying technology. And they deliver 28% more client budget to working media. That's going to make your clients happy. You want proof? Visit goodwaygroup.com/indie-agencies-unite for a complimentary media audit. Now, I'm going to make this even easier for you. So go to our page, go to the current preferred partners, and you'll be able to see Goodway Group and look at that. The one pain point that they solve, how they help your agency, the proven outcomes. There's that 28% again. But you can get right to scheduling a call, or you can learn more. Again, you're going to be going to that indie-agencies-unite page, and that's right there. Thank you, Goodway Group, for supporting this mission, and enjoy the show. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for your support of Indie Agency News, and let's meet an indie agency. Where are you today?
We're in the office. We're at, Hyphenated HQ, if you will.
Where?
No, LA. It's in Mid City.
Mid City. That's okay. You're not West Side. Okay, you're Mid City. Okay,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, we're too many agencies on the West Side, so we're like, we got to go east. That's where the people are. That's where the realness is.
Very purposefully placed on Pico Boulevard.
Oh, it's on Pico. Okay, got it. Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And mildly close to Culver. It's just that whole thing. It's interesting. Culver is like technically, I guess, the West Side, but then it's east of the 405, and it's kind of like it's in that weird tweener space. So
it's a lot of good looking, affordable space there when compared to other parts of the LA area. I'm a born and raised Angelino, so it's always been this weird lot you had to drive through. So, right. And I was born on, I lived and raised in Pico Union. Okay. So it was important for me to get an office on Pico Boulevard, because if you take it from one Pico, right, and we know from Casa del Mar area all the way to East LA, you get every aspect of LA on that one beautiful drive. So for me, that's important.
All I know is that when I come down, the three of us are going to go. We're gonna go do that route, and we're gonna go eat.
We'll stop. We'll stop at every point and have a good thing to do.
Yeah. No. We're doing that, and we're gonna film that. Okay. So, all right, we've already made plans here, but the plan here is to talk about Hyphenated. So, would love you to give me a little bit of a thumbnail, just a little bit of a sketch of how the agency got kicking.
Sure. I was thinking about building something for years, and for the most part, I think ultimately you get used to that paycheck, and you get concerns and bravery, right? I was talking to the LA Rams at the time, the CMO Ronna Lee.
Oh, love her.
She's great. Founding client, as the story goes, and then a repeat partner of ours. And I remember we're at the Soho House, at the Soho Warehouse, and she's like, how do we do this? So that was August of 2019. And the beginning of the talks, and by November, I was like freaking out on legal Zoom, trying to figure out which package is the right package to start a company.
Right. Oh my God.
And then, trying to figure out how to get out of, at the time, Kelly and I were doing RGA, the West Coast.
That's right.
BDX to LAX.
Yep.
And with David Corns, who is also a founding partner of ours at Open Door in that regard, or a client of ours. And, that kind of started it all. It forced us into action. And as we looked and kicked around a few names, we asked a trusted circle of people, and compared a few things, and Hyphenated won, because it's an idea. It's not a last name.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you don't want to put Esparza, Robertson and Company on the door.
Maybe just Esparza, because it could be like a cologne or a perfumery. You're not quite sure what that is.
Okay, no, I get it.
So it maybe comes with some intrigue, but hyphenated is an idea that we serve, and that's what we live every day. It's why we're on the east side, not on the west side.
Yep.
It's why we hire off the streets, not from the industry, and things like that. More importantly, 2020 was our first official year, so we were baked in the fire of COVID.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
No, and I love the perspective, and we're going to talk about talent here in a second, but I've long said that when you dive into South LA, East LA, there's untapped potential and opportunity to grow people in a way that they wouldn't expect, right? Because there's tension, but there's also a tremendous amount of creativity that comes from those places. And we often forget about that, but man, I mean, think of some of the creative things that come out of those parts of Los Angeles. I mean, they're real. I mean, they're so real, and good for you on tapping into that. I think that we'll talk about that in a second, though. What would you say that your top three? Because every agency has a list of stuff they do, for lack of a better term. But what would you say are the three things that rise to the top for you, especially as around solutions for your clients and for brands?
In terms of outputs or in terms of the way we work? I'll answer it both ways.
This is your interview. You can answer it however you'd like, Kelly.
I will tell you, Doug, no one dives deeper into the business and the business problem, because ultimately that's what we use creativity to do, solve business problems. So going deep and understanding the organization, where you were, where you are, and the potential where you can be.
Yep.
No one will dive deeper into the audience, the communities, and the culture. Our culturalists and our team go deep to find the nuance and the insights. And then finally, creativity at the edge of these communities to make sure that we're using creativity as a tool to build the brand and be as resonant as possible. So business problems, insights, and creativity on the edge of cultures. From an output standpoint, we build culturally resonant brands. So that means design for cultures, brand design, storytelling. And then finally, all of that has to be based on really solid, nuanced insights.
Yeah, we make it a point to make sure brands understand their stories, of culture, design for culture, in order to connect deeply and truly resonate, not just pursue relevance.
Right.
And I think, for us, if the other way to answer that is originality, real talk, no BS, and fucking dope talent. Like we're tapped with talent that otherwise won't be in this industry, because they can go do other things, and they are doing other things.
Yeah, they are
maybe more interesting. And so, I think that combination to go with what we're experts at is a great balance.
Yeah, no, I agree. RGA, now back to indie. I remember when RGA was indie, then IPG bought them, and then I was at IPG for a minute. Now they're indie again. That's neither here nor there. It's mainly subcontext. However, my question is, why is being independent so important to you?
I'll start with a comment on RGA. I love RGA. RGA.
Chapin Clark, baby.
You know, it's the
that motherfucker.
100%. But you know what? Like Bob and Nick were incredibly dedicated and to us and loyal and supporters and proponents, that they let us experiment within the walls of RGA. And then the era post RGA were equally dedicated and supportive. And so it's independent with an asterisk. There's a lot of private equity money in that. But,
I mean, we count private equity as technically it is independent.
It is technically, yes. But I'm really happy that, you know, they get to, you know, hold the reins on their future, which is what you want.
Yeah.
For us, you know, we didn't build to sell or to exit or to, you know, get acquired. We've entertained conversations and we always pull out for various reasons. But the biggest reason is that on principle, we built this company to sunset it when we retire or exit it, you know, when we're done with it, or to pass it along to and literally gift it to another group of diverse leaders and have them grow it and take it further. That's the ideal goal. You know, if that is not the case, right, then we would happily, you know, close the single, the door and turn the shingle, you know, and so that's the idea. It wasn't also meant to like grow and scale vertically. It was meant to grow laterally and you know, we have different metrics for success, and independence is one of them. Do we have final say as a company on who we partner with? Absolutely. How we partner, without a doubt. And when do we partner? Right? There's years where we're like a little more hungry and we're like, we want 20 projects this year. There's years where we're like, this is our, you know, OE, if you will. So we're just going to work on 3 things. And that flexibility is something that we enjoy.
I feel like you and I are related because you're saying a lot of the same things that I mean, I'm half Italian, so there's got to be.
Do you have a Mexican father, maybe?
No, it's Italian mother. So yeah, same guilt, different food. Kelli, let's talk a little bit about the main reason a brand should work with you, and you can contextualize this a couple of ways. There's the straight up, which is this is why, boom, 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 or through the lens of, oh, we worked with this client, this brand, and they gave us this amazing feedback, and that gave us a little bit of a tailwind and also galvanized our thinking as to why a brand should work with us.
From a feedback standpoint, the feedback we get, without a doubt, is the most thoughtful. But a brand should work with us to take their existing truth and future-proof it with the next generation of customers, communities that will make them inevitable and help them grow in the future. So a lot of the work we've done is connect existing audiences to future audiences. And it's not segmentations, it's looking at the inevitable growth audience. 4 trillion of that is Latino. The average age of a Latino is 17. But it's not just about that. It's about looking at the future of a brand in that audience and making sure we're finding what's true in the future and tying it to what's true today. So taking a brand's authentic truth and connecting it to culture's edge is one of the simplest ways to talk about it.
And I love that you frame it that way, because, and just bear with me here in a second. So in this industry, there's this thing of we have to be in culture, and it feels vague and mainstream. Whereas what you're talking to me, the things, so you've got mainstream, margins, fringe, right? And so the things that I find that are most interesting are in the margins. Not necessarily, the fringe can be interesting, but as a general rule, things that are in the margins And I don't mean that in a pejorative sense. I mean that in our industry sense, which is that idea of mainstream, but like all this cool stuff is happening that feels familiar, but it's just so different and cool and interesting. I love how you frame that because it's very thought through and very thoughtful. And it drives also to this idea of talent. And Will, you said this earlier, you hire from the streets. So walk us through all of the talent perspective and why talent should be putting the agency on their list.
I think as it relates to talent, they see a direct correlation between our stories and theirs. Mine specifically in the sense of I was a graffiti artist doing album artwork and sponsorship and endorsements for like Absolute Vodka, album artwork for Snoop, the East Siders, Ice Cube, and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that led me to Art Center, which then led me to advertising. And so I didn't think there was a career in creativity at this stage, if you will. And I've never lost that like humble point or that the humility or the grace in that. So whenever we're around, whether it's digital spaces or out in the streets, legitimately on the streets, if we find you interesting, which most people are more interesting than us, and we're engaging in great discourse, we can teach advertising and ideas. That's the easy part. We're like humanly baked to be creative and curious, right? The rest is just process and structure. So, and systems. And so for us, it's like the rawness of that, can we polish that diamond, if you will, and then release it upon the industry. And so whether they stay here or they go on to other places, the goal is to get them in and have them affect our industry partially because the industry is run by a lot of like P&L suits, which is important, right? But
no, I mean, listen, everybody has their place, but everybody has their shtick. Yeah, this is ours.
I can't stop smiling as you're saying this, Will, because I can literally think I've known you for 8 years or so. It's been a long time. Multiple times where out in the world, whether it's coffee, it tends to be coffee or taco shops, or like a conversation will start with someone and like it goes from there. So it's
oh yeah,
he says from the streets, he's not.
No.
You're not fucking around.
No, I'm the same. I'm exactly the same. I'll just be like, oh, that sounds cool. Yeah. Do you want to do a thing? Yeah, no, I know. Yeah. Cause and I teach at Portland State University. And so minority serving institution. And it's really our role is our job is to teach and to prepare students. Our role is to make them ready to get out in the world. Our responsibility is to make this industry better. And by doing that, it is bringing less of people who look like me, middle-aged straight white man in advertising, and bringing what the world is into this industry and doing it in an authentic way. So I really appreciate where you're coming with that. And I mean, I guarantee I'm going to connect you with the PSU folk because we'll have you come up. You're very familiar with Portland. We'll have you come up and speak to some of the classes.
Sure. We'd love to. And by the way, we'll be up there I'll be up there for a shoot in a few meetings. So
I got you.
Weeks.
I got you. Yeah.
So
I got you.
Well, I'll hit you up. But
okay.
I think as relates to why talent should come work here, it's originality. Like I think a lot of what we try to do is bring out their point of view and help shape that point of view. First is tell them what the point of view is, and then instruct them to how to push it forward. And it's a bit inverted in that regard. And you'd be surprised how many people from the industry don't survive in our culture because it's a process-led industry, and our culture is high stakes, high bar. We invite talent to like jump into the deep end, cold plunge, and then we live in like real time coach them how to swim to land. And so you just can't get like the nuance and the ticks and authenticity that comes from someone who really wants it in a meeting, in a conversation with a partner. Like, is irreplaceable. It's no longer lip service. It's no longer, a milestone. It's like a meaningful conversation. And so, we try to balance the elders, if you will, with the future, because it's important to have position players. It's important to have people who understand system, but getting them back to beautiful play.
And I love that you mentioned elders, because I think in human culture, that idea just goes across so many different places. I mean, growing up Italian family, it's like, the grandparents, and then passing that on is really, really important. And that doesn't mean, I think the thing that people get hung up on in this business is people that have been in the business for a minute tend to get overly nostalgic about it, as opposed to contextualizing what's important for that next generation to push things forward. Now, I mean, you take a look at like David Ogilvy, Leo Burnett, the core thinking there it still matters. However, it was a very different time. It was very different everything. But if you agnostically take the things that will help people thrive without, baggage or any of that other stuff, that all still matters. Because an agency is here to help solve a client's business problem. That's never going away.
It's never going away, but more importantly, there's value in everything and everyone. It's how we tap it and how we develop it. Right. And that value, as it relates to partners or clients, that's found in like their truth, their undeniable truth. Right. And in people or systems or older models or 150-year-old agencies, like there's still thinking in there that is worth extracting and that it's worth learning and taking forward. And so I think the biggest issue our industry is facing is not knowing how to identify with tomorrow's business and the reality of how what we're doing is changing. So we long for slower days. We long for that's why nostalgia is such a hot topic, from brands to governments all across the world. And I think it's a very natural human state to feel that way. And so we just got to process it and then, still look forward and find ways to create advantages for our partners and ourselves.
The biggest thing I pine for is that spirit of 2006, 2007, and maybe it's the product of where I was at KQA and RJ.
Oh, interesting.
Most of my time, but back then, I mean, video was on iPhone. People were wondering, what do I do with Twitter and Facebook? These things are new.
Right.
Or Instagram was being developed. Back then, the only thing I pine for is that, let's figure it out. Or the enthusiasm of like all these new tools and all the ways brands and agencies lost control. But back then, and again, maybe it was in the buildings I was in, there was just sheer enthusiasm and no one would say no. We'd just be like, let's try it. Let's figure it out. That's the only thing I pine for and I'm trying to bring today.
Yeah, no, I totally get it. Final question. No, second to last question. I can't read. Would you consider yourselves weirdos, misfits, or underdogs?
None.
None?
None of those. Because we believe hyphenated and hyphenated people are undeniable. So none of those three specifically, although I think both Will and I from our past maybe could relate to having chips on our shoulders a bit potentially, but hyphenated and I think what we do, what we would say none of those three.
I would say if I had to pick a word, it'd be outsider.
Yeah.
Okay. It's like misfits could be for mischief, weirdos could be for white and things like that, but like we're not trying to go and sing the same tune, and so we're legitimately trying to build long-term relationships and connect brands to communities and passions and lifestyles, so that they can get out of the 3-second attention game, right? Attention is relevance today, right?
Mm-hmm.
Relationships is resilience tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And our industry has forgotten that.
Yeah.
And it makes a lot of sense why there's more money in attention right now.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately the pivot needs to be made.
So little attention spans. I mean, that's the thing. It's you're everyone says attention, but you're fighting for a fragment. You're not fighting for the whole share of it. It's Let's not get into a TED talk on that one. Whether they are a current client or not, which CMO or marketer would you like to say hello to?
Man, there's so many. And I think for us, the most important thing that I think we've realized this year is that it's funny, you're going to laugh when I say it, that we do fucking sports really well.
Yeah.
And whether it's a commoditized product or a very conventional category, or if it's like a leading brand entering the sports space, we think a lot of innovation and the indoctrination of AI will be through sports. And
I can see that.
And so from like measuring performance on the big stage to tracking athlete development, and there's a way to do that at a very human level, like sports medicine, right? And to use that as a metaphor, but also to use that as a storytelling and what is upon us with the World Cup specifically. Not just being a fan of the sport, but having kids that play club sports or soccer. Like we want to go kick a ball around with a brand that's brave and wants to enter the space and disrupt it. So no specific name, there's too many names to mention, but I would say, if a brand's trying to like leverage sports to tap into certain communities or next growth audiences, or want to dip their toes in sports because of the relevance that it drives for them, they can come to us.
Yeah, I know. I like that. I like that a lot. No, you're right. I got to use AI so I can just be playing my old man soccer a little bit. I got to predict like when my knee's going to blow out.
Yeah, I mean, I know I blew out 2 knees, but
hey, you know what? So here's what. So we can talk about this first. Just a brief aside. So I'm 56 years old, and you got the aches and pains. You got the thing there, right? I told my doctor this because we were dealing with. So I play goalie. I was a striker for most of my life, but then they put me back in goal. So this finger's all messed up. I'm getting it checked. So there's that, and then I have an Achilles thing, tendonitis. First thing I told my doctor was, I said, not playing soccer is not an option. I don't care if I have to be walking around slowly kicking a ball. It is not an option. You know what I mean?
I mean, is paddleball not for you? Or
it's Portland. I mean, that sounds so. It's like so Portland. It's like paddleball everywhere. I like paddleball. I prefer tennis. But I got a jacked up finger and a jacked up Achilles. But listen, not playing soccer, not an option. Not
100%.
Yeah. Who's your team, by the way?
I got many teams. So PSG, but only because my boys oddly fell in love with them, and now like that became a family thing.
Okay.
So that's a like net new one.
Okay.
Been following LAFC.
I'll give you that.
The inception.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
Like I think LAFC, what it's done for the sport, but what it's done for the culture of LA. If you've not been to an LAFC game, anyone?
No, it's dope. And I know that they tried doing Chivas US, and that didn't really work. But
didn't really work. No.
Yeah.
And so it's probably next to Atlanta, the closest you get to like La Liga or
Yeah.
even European soccer in terms of fandom.
Yep.
But
yeah, but you were in Portland. You know what's up here.
yeah, of course. Yeah, and you know, I think to me the biggest team outside of MLS would be America, because that's what I grew up with, you know?
Yeah.
So it's an obvious like response.
A dope ass kit, by the way.
But and they had a great season. Unfortunately, they didn't go too far.
Yeah.
I need to counter that with Angel City FC and the energy.
Angel City, I got a chance to interview. I did a story on them when I was at Adweek. One of my favorite things I've ever done. I loved doing that story. But we're Portland Thorns up here. I apologize.
Yeah.
No, actually, I don't apologize, Kelly. I do not apologize. I'm never going to apologize.
Who'd you interview at Angel City?
Oh God, it was Julie Ehrman. I got to go back and look. It was a while ago. It was a minute ago. Yeah, it was. I think that's so dope. No, I love women's soccer. I think women are fundamentally better soccer players than men. I just think the technique is solid. And it's so fun to watch. But again, women need to be paid what they are worth, by the way.
100%, yeah.
Keep building that and just keep moving on it. Owners, pay them what they deserve, which is a lot. They deserve a lot. Again, this is turning into a damn TED Talk. Look at us.
Here we are. I mean, we still got 25 seconds.
Do we? Oh, all right. Well, let me leave it at this. Listen, I am super stoked that you are members. I appreciate you joining this mission. It means a lot to me. But best wishes, just keep on keeping on, and we'll see you down there in LA fairly soon.
Oh, without a doubt. Thanks for having us. And listen, we're here to support and be a part of the community as well. So however you need us, just ring.
Right on.